a bank with really bad debts. Now, that's something I would want to invest in. That sounds like a really good plan, don't you think?
Well, it is based solely on insanity.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
The assets that are being taken away from the balance sheets of financial companies and others that are being transferred to the Federal Reserve are probably worth anywhere between 5 cents and 60 cents on the dollar, and we'll use an average of 25 to 30 cents. And that is a very bad idea, because why should a bank be allowed to just hand off their toxic investments to some entity that we're going to have to end up paying for?
Now, I want to ask this question because it seems to me, I keep saying over and over again, wait a minute, when they go to the microphone and they talk about how, well, we need to throw more money at this problem, aren't there people that went to the Wharton School of Business, Harvard School of Business, that are out there saying, wait a minute, what are you guys thinking? There's no way this can work out. Where are those voices of the financial advisors, the investors in this country, the economists who don't use TurboTax, that is, who are saying, what is going on here?
You know, in German they say schöner Schnitt, which means nice cut. And you just cut Mr. Geithner right down to midget size. I love it.
Well, I wish we could. I wish we could cut him down to midget size. But, you know,
but anyway, you don't hear dissident voices. There's a handful of us, and that's it. Because everybody wants to be accepted. And everybody wants to go along with the program. And economists and analysts who work for brokerage firms, banks, insurance companies, corporations, if they open their mouth, they lose their job. And that's why you don't hear anything. And that's why you have to go to independent sources, to people like myself, who don't care what the government thinks. The government hates me, and I really don't care.
But there's got to be people out there like Dr. Sanjay Gupta, who's looking at his 401k get eaten from the inside out. I mean, there's got to be these people who their own profile, their own, portfolio is just deteriorating minute by minute. Aren't they saying?
Well, we get 50 to 150 messages from them every day.
What kind of messages?
What do I do?
Oh, from the
Doctors,
big guys?
Economists, attorneys, professors. I'm serious.
Whoa. I mean,
all day, every day, but that's not enough.
Yeah.
That's why the program is so important. We've got to reach the masses and make them understand. They've got to read The Creature from Jekyll Island, and that makes it easy.
Okay, we've got a 3-minute break. We're going to come back. Frank, in Louisiana, you're up first on the Power Hour with Bob Chapman, the Bob Chapman, not afraid of the government. We'll be right back after this 3-minute break. Stay tuned.
America, land of the free, right to life and liberty. Open your eyes and you will see that America is.
All right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Monday edition of the Power Hour. This is Dave.
And Joyce. We're talking to Bob Chapman today, and the subject is whatever you want to know about what is happening in the financial system. Let me go to the callers right now. Frank in Louisiana, you're first up. What's your question or comment for the Bob Chapman, executive editor of the International Forecaster newsletter? Go ahead, Frank.
Well, good morning to y'all.
Morning.
Speaking of gold, I read something that was remarkable. Now, naturally, our constitutional money supply has never been repealed, but we don't follow it. It's supposed to be owned by the people. But when we give the money to the Federal Reserve banks and borrow it back, we have to pay that bond interest to these private bankers offshore. And I read that what we pay them back is redeemable in gold at par to the IMF bank, and that's in titles of U.S. code. So the financial high treason is so unbelievable, and we are totally being taken down. Now, where do they get the gold at? Well, they haven't had an audit of Fort Knox in so long. It's ridiculous. And I think they're taking all the gold. I mean, they are totally committing so much high treason, and no one in Washington except Ron Paul is even talking about it.
That's right. High treason is absolutely right. Let me go to our guest, Bob Chapman. It is treason. They're stealing. It's theft. It is...
let's call it for what it is.
Yeah.
I mean, this is punishable by hanging. I mean, let's face it, folks. If you go look read your flippin' Constitution. This is high treason. This is punishable by death.
Well, I just bought a rope company.
Yeah, there you go. Have you gone
good,
public
good.
yet?
Anyway, the answer is the gentleman is correct. No audit since 1954. Congress is bought and paid for, or they're compromised, and there's a few good guys. And so they're not going to do anything, and so we don't really have a Congress anymore. And the court system belongs to the people who are behind the scenes, so that's out as well. And so that's why no one has spoken out, and no one is going to speak out. But it's very questionable as to how much gold the United States government has. I believe it's very little, if any. And I believe one of the reasons for that is this bond interest, and also the ROSA bonds, which were issued back in the 1960s, were all redeemed for gold as well. And, of course, the incursions into the market by the U.S. Treasury through the Exchange Stabilization Fund, which is a subsidiary, they've been selling gold into the market as well. And we've seen it turn up not too long ago in the form of coin melt, which is not good delivery. And that's been going on for the last year or so. And when they get down to that level, you know that they have very little left, or they don't have any left. And so, yes, high treason.
Okay, let's go to our next caller. Who we got, John?
Okay, I'm sorry. Yeah, we have DJ in Florida. DJ, go ahead. You're on the air. DJ in Florida. Hello.
Let's hang them all. I'm ready, you know.
Oh, yes.
Hey, look, this morning on Shortwave, you mentioned, I think it's Friday's program, about Obama taking a second oath, and that they had to make him a citizen first through an executive order. Can you expound on that? And can you tell me about, I have a fund in the precious metal. Should I get out of that and get into gold, or will it go up?
Okay, let me just say, I don't know anything about making him a citizen first.
I didn't hear that.
No, I didn't hear that. I know that they did make him take the oath again. It was pretty obvious that something was done by design there because they wouldn't allow any cameras in there.
Yeah, not only did he take the new oath, but he didn't put his hand in the Bible.
Okay, and when we get back from this break, let's ask our guest and our caller, which fund are you talking about, and should he get out of it? We'll be right back. 1 minute, 10 seconds. Stay tuned.
Broadcasting from the most confused, dumbed down, manipulated, and brainwashed nation on the face of the planet. With all the news they hope and pray that you never hear. This is the Power Hour. All right, here we go, folks. Hour number 3 of today's daily exercise and thinking outside of the corporate cage is now in session. This is Dave.
And Joyce, thank you for joining us in the Power Hour today. And DJ had a question. We are talking with our guest, Bob Chapman, who writes the International Forecaster newsletter, and you can get a copy of it at 877-479-8178. He had a question about the stocks, and I didn't get which one he was talking about. Did you catch on that, Bob Chapman?
No, but he said he had a mutual fund. And if the mutual fund is in gold and silver shares, he should keep that. There's nothing wrong with that. On the other hand, my question to him would be, do you own gold and silver coins? And if the answer is no, that would be your next accumulation so that you have both.
Okay. Thank you very much. For the phone call, let's go to Renee in North Carolina. Renee, you're on the air. Go ahead, please.
Yes, there's an article out this morning on Yahoo Finance titled "Banks Lead European Stocks Higher Ahead of U.S. Open." But this is the paragraph that gives away that the banks have been lying. Now, why would you trust your money to people who have this bad of a handle of their profits, losses, and bookkeeping? Listen to what it says. Barclays surprised by releasing a statement showing it had made a good profit for 2008 and that it did not need any cash bailouts to stay in business. Markets had feared the bank would be next in line to be rescued by the state and have to give up a stake to the government. All of a sudden, they have more money and they're doing better when they were going to have to maybe give something up.
Bob Chapman, your response?
Oh, I think she's right. What they've probably done is, you were talking about the bad bank earlier.